Hello everyone, I am Akhil Rajaratnam and welcome to today's daily news analysis. So today is very special. Today is International Women's Day, a day to celebrate the achievements, contributions and resilience of women all across the world. It's also a moment to reflect the challenges that remain and even discuss how we can work towards a more inclusive and equitable society. So wishing all the wonderful women out there a very happy Women's Day. So before we begin our discussion, let's start with a short quiz on Women's Day itself. Okay, so this is related to the origin of Women's Day. So why is International Women's Day celebrated on March 8? What is the reason for choosing today as International Women's Day? Okay, so option A, it marks the day women were granted voting rights globally. It commemorates a protest by Russian women against World War I. It was declared by the United Nations as official Women's Rights Day in 1857. It marks the birth anniversary of famous feminist leader Clara Zetkin. Okay, so these are the four options. So you can post your answers in the chat box. By the end of the session, we'll be discussing the answer of this particular question. Okay, all right. Moving on to our topics. So these are the four topics which I've taken for today's discussion. Okay, first one is again related to Women's Day only. So this is from Hindu. We have combined two articles from Hindu. One is related to women's participation in the STEM, and other one is related to women's safety in the public places. Okay, so this article is saying that despite the progress, women in India face systemic barriers in education, especially in the STEM field, as well as in mobility, especially in the public spaces. Okay, so we'll be discussing mains perspective in this article. Second one, US exit UN climate damage fund meant for poor nation. Okay, all right. So this is related to the US withdrawal. Recent decision of President Donald Trump to withdraw US from the loss and damage fund under United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so we'll be discussing what is this particular fund and what are the implications, why US withdraw from this fund also. Okay. Third one related to India-US Extradition Treaty. So again, this from Indian Express. So the 2611 accused Tahaur Rana. So we have had some deals with the US related to extradition of this Tahaur Rana. So we'll be discussing what is this extradition, what is this extradition treaty, what are the challenges in this extradition. All these things will be discussed in this particular topic. Okay. All right. Fourth one is related to spices. Okay, so despite India being one of the top exporters of spices, there are many issues related to the spices, especially the competition from our neighboring countries and all. We are actually struggling in the spice exports. Okay, so we'll be discussing the particular report 5 WSO of spices. Okay, all right. So these are the four topics which we'll be discussing in today's session. All right. So before moving on to the discussion, let me introduce you to our product. So this is a 110-day self-study planner for UPSC. So here you can see a QR code. You can see here. So by scanning this QR code, you can download our app, Narayana IAS Academy app, from either App Store as well as a Android a Play Store also. Okay. So here we are actually giving you a 110 days self-study planner for UPSC Prelims 2025. Okay. All right, one more product is a 1 year prelims comes mains integrated course. So this is aimed for people who are aspirants who are attempting the 2026 UPSC CSE prelims examination, and we also have a 2 year prelims comes mains integrated course that will be for people who are aspiring the 2027 examination. Okay. All right, so these are our specialities. We will be providing you with 800 plus hours of general studies as well as CSET. It will be a completely online course, and also we will be having 200 hours of current affairs classes. Also, again, that will also be online only. And also, we will be giving you micro schedule breaking down the UPSC syllabus, and we'll have expert faculty for all the subjects. Obviously, testing is also very much important for your preparation. So, we'll have tests for both prelims as practice tests for both prelims as well as mains examination. Okay. All right. Moving on to our first topic, again related to Women's Day, related to both women's safety as well as gender discrimination in the STEM fields. Okay. So this article is saying that there are systemic barriers women face in India, especially in STEM fields. STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And also there is a discrimination in the public spaces. Okay, so we have combined, there are two articles were there in today's editorial, Hindu editorial. So we have combined both these articles and made this topic for discussion. Okay. All right. So this is very important from the GS paper 1, GS paper 1 as well as the GS paper 2 also. Okay. All right. A previous year question in this regard. Again, direct question from women's safety. Though women in post-independence India have excelled in various fields, the social attitude towards women and feminist movement has been patriarchal. Apart from women education and women empowerment schemes, what interventions can help change this milieu? Okay, again, related to a role of women. Okay. All right, so let's start with some important statistics related to, again, this is from the article itself, important statistics related to how women are actually, what are the issues faced by the women both in STEM careers as well as in STEM careers as well as in the public spaces. Okay, so according to the 2023, according to the 2023 Peace and Security Index, India is actually ranking 128 out of 177 countries. 128 out of 177 countries. So this is indicating that we have a very poor safety and mobility for women, especially in the public spaces. This is a ranking. This is actually a index which determine this kind of consideration. Okay. All right. Another one is in STEM field, science, technology, education, engineering, medicine. Women constitute only 17% of faculty members in Indian institutions, especially in the top institutions like IIT and all. Only 17% of the faculty members are women. Okay, so that's also a very alarming rate, especially in this engineering as well as a technical fields. Okay. Again, if you are considering the women's labor force participation rate, LFPR, that is labor force participation rate. Again, this also data from 2023, 2024. There also you can see a very huge drop. Now only 35.6% of women are participating in the labor force. Okay, so that is very low, much lower than the global average. Again, this is also reflecting the barriers in the workspace, not just in STEM careers, but overall in the workspace. This is something very much alarming. Okay. Another one is related to the National Family Health Survey, fourth National Family Health Survey. According to this, only 54% of Indian women can visit markets alone. 54% of Indian women can visit markets alone. 50% can access healthcare independently, and 48% are allowed to travel outside the community accommodation. Again, this is also very important question regarding the safety of women in the public spaces. These numbers are very crucial. These numbers show that there is actually deep-rooted societal barriers that women face, whether it be education, whether it be employment, or whether it be the living in this public spaces. So why do women enter and stay? Women are not staying in this STEM field. So there are some important theories related to this. So many of these international theorists, so they have come up with some important terms related to this, why this issue is happening. So we'll be discussing that. Okay. One was a Matilda effect. Matilda effect. So Matilda effect is saying that despite women, even though women, many of these women had made groundbreaking discoveries. For example, we have Marie Curie, like many scientists are also there. Their male counterparts receive most of the recognition. So this is what is called as a Matilda effect. Okay. So this Matilda effect explains how women's contribution in science have historically been overshadowed by the male counterparts. Okay, so that is Matilda effect. Okay, another one is a leaky pipeline theory. Again, this is also something related to, especially related to the STEM only. So here we can see that many girls are actually studying or maybe enrolling in this STEM subjects in the schools, but very few are pursuing them in the college, or maybe even after that going to this career also. So there is actually some leakages in between this. So this is what this leaky pipeline theory is suggesting. Another important one is the chutes and ladders model. Okay, chutes and ladders means you might have seen this chutes and ladders game. Okay, so ladder means it will be going up, and chutes means again it is not a proper journey. Okay, so that is chutes and ladders. So here this theory is saying that men will be climbing the ladder. Men will be climbing the career ladder steadily. Okay, it's not, there are barriers are very less for men to climb the career ladder, but women's careers will be often having this setback. So the ladder suggests that it is actually a men, the career of the steady career of the men, and shoots means it is actually the setbacks faced by the women, especially due to the societal expectation, like family responsibilities will be there even after a career gap, funding gaps will also be there, and also in promotions also we can see this biases also there between women as well as men. So all these things are detrimental to the women's career, especially in this STEM, what STEM category. Okay, all right. So I'll show you a demonstration of this leaky uh, pipeline. Okay, so the leaky pipeline, again these are old statistics only, 2001. It's from 2001 to 2011. Okay, just for demonstration purpose only. No need to just remind all these numbers and all, but you'll get an idea how this leaky pipeline is actually working. Okay, so this is basically an illustration that which highlights the drop off rates of the students pursuing especially the STEM career, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, so here you can see that this is a high school class. Okay, high school class, you can see that in 2005 around 4 million students, 4 million students are actually enrolling in this high school class. Okay, but after that only 2.8 million, after that only 2.8 million students are only graduating from this high school. Okay, so here it is 4 million. Okay, so after that 4 millions are enrolling, so after that only 2.8 is graduating. 2.8 is graduating in 2005. Okay, 2005 the only 2.8 is graduating. So after that only 1.9 are enrolled in the college. Okay, so here enrolling, here it is actually passing. So after that they have to enroll in the college. Only 1.9 million are enrolling in the college. Again there is also leak happening there. Only 1.3 million were college ready. So after that they have to pass the college also, right? Only 1.3 million were college ready, and after that again a leak is happening. Fewer than 3 lakh students, 3 lakh students choose STEM field as their major. Okay, 3 lakh students choose STEM field as their major. So ultimately only 1.67, only 1.67 graduates are thereby expected thereby 2011. So it started in 2005 with 4 million enrollments, but if we come to 2011, we are getting only 1.67 graduates. So in between the leak is happening. In between the leak is happening, and many are dropping out from their career, especially in this STEM field. Okay, so this is actually the leaky pipeline theory. Leaky pipeline 3. So why this is happening? That is a major question here. Why this is happening? For example, if a talented women scientist takes a career break, maybe for marriage or maybe for childcare or maybe for some other reasons. So once she returned back to her career, she is actually facing funding issues, or maybe her skills might have got outdated, or maybe she might be getting difficulty in go to the leadership role. So like that way there are issues happening in the especially in the women in the STEM career. Okay, women in STEM career. So this is a major issue. It's a major issue. So why this issue is happening? Why this issue is happening? We'll examine that. One, limited access to quality STEM education. Limited access to quality STEM education. We are providing STEM education, but quality STEM education for them to sustain in the STEM field, that is not proper. Many young girls, so they are facing this societal discouragement from pursuing this science and technology. Some careers are actually given for women itself. For example, like teaching career, they should only choose this teaching career, that to this humanities subject. So that kind of feeling is there for this women. Okay, so that kind of bias, it's very much happening in this. So that's why we are not having much women scientists. Women will be choosing teaching, that kind of areas only. Healthcare, that areas only they'll be choosing. Another one is workplace discrimination. Workplace discrimination, even if they get a career also, there will be workplace discrimination. They are often overlooked for promotions. Men will be getting, like we have already said in this chutes and ladder model. So men the career growth will be even better. Career growth will be even better, but women are not much preferred for this leadership roles, and also in the research funding, women will be getting very less research funding. So this is also one of the major issues. Okay. Another one is lack of representation in the senior academic and research. So again, here also one important study was there. 2020 2021 there was a survey was including 98 institutions in India. So this survey found that women faculty members in the high ranked institutions, especially this IITs, IIMs and all, so they were disproportionately low. So that was one of the observations of this particular survey. Okay. Another one, career disruptions. We have already discussed what is this career disruption. For example, for marriages, many women are forced to take career breaks for marriage, for childcare and all. So there, women, the role of women is more emphasized in this particular area. Okay. All right. So that's also one thing. Another one is hostile work environments and lack of mentorship. Okay. So workplace harassment is one major issue. Female mentors are less. Mostly women will be having, in the leadership role it will be men only. So they'll also be mentored by the men mentors only. Okay, male mentors only. So that is also one of the issues. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is mainly focusing on the STEM careers or maybe the general workplace itself. Other than that, women are facing issues in the public space also, public space and mobility areas also. Okay. All right. One, the gendered spatial control. Gendered spatial control. For example, you might have noticed how in public spaces like parks, streets, cafes, their men will be outnumbering the women, especially single men. Single men will be outnumbering the single women. Okay, so this is also one of the major reasons. Many women avoid these places also. Okay, for example, men will be going for this recreational activities in the public uh, parks, streets, even cafes and all, but women tend to avoid these areas. Okay, so this is one of the major issue. Gendered spatial control will be there. Another one is the fear of harassment and violence. Fear of harassment and violence. So again, we have already discussed the 2023 Women, Peace and Security Index. So there, India is actually standing in 128th out of 177 countries. So again, this is also a very alarming rate. So this highlights that women are facing poor safety and even the crimes against women in these public spaces, public transport, harassment in public transport, even workplace, all remains high. And also there are low conviction rates. That is also discouraging women from reporting the harassment. Okay, so even if you take the crime rate also, it is based on the reporting only. So here the reporting itself is not happening. Okay, reporting itself is not happening. So that will be discouraging the women from. So many are not getting reported. Okay, so even if the reporting is also happening, it will be much higher. Okay, so this is another important reason. Okay, another one is restricted mobility. Restricted mobility. Yeah, restricted mobility of the women. For example, restricted mobility can cause limited economic participation. Limited economic participation. Women really don't use this public spaces. Women really don't use this public spaces. For so this is also major issue. Mostly the essential activities like leisure and all are kind of not friendly for the women. So this is a major issue. Again, that will be affecting the economic growth also, because they won't be going out. They won't be going out. Their mental health will be affected. Again, that will be affecting their career. All these things are also happening. Okay. Another thing is urban infrastructure. Urban infrastructure is also a major issue. So poor street lighting will be there. Even lack of safe transport will be there. Even public toilets. Public toilets, we rarely get this public toilets, right? So this is also one of the major issues which we are, which these women are facing. Women often, so women, what they'll be doing, they often avoid taking this late night shift. Late night shift will be avoided, especially due to the safety concerns. So this will be affecting their job opportunities also. They are saying that we won't be going with late night shift, their job opportunities curtail, and also they'll be preferring the men counterpart only. Okay, so there are also issues related to gender disparities in science. Okay. All right, one is gender bias. Gender bias and the social norms. Women are often conditioned to prioritize this household responsibility. So once, even if she is having a successful career also, once she is getting married, she has to stop their career. So this kind of mentality is also very much there in our society. Okay, even they are not having much institutional support also. Institutional support is also very much less. Many workplaces, even academic institutions, they do not have this adequate policies. For example, this menstrual period and all, they are not getting any leaves or something. Maternal benefits are, even though many are providing maternal benefits, but still they are under disadvantage compared to the days and all. They are under disadvantage, and also there is no even working mothers will be there, so they might be requiring flexible work hours. So that is also not provided for these people, and also it's not, the working environments are also mostly safe, not safe. Okay, so this is also one of the reason. Another one is the economic and innovation impact. Economic and the innovation impact. Again, fewer women are only there in this STEM. Okay, so this means loss of the potential talent. Even if they have got high marks in their graduation or something, since only few women are only employed, so this is actually loss of whatever we did, loss of the education, loss of the even if they are studying in the government colleges, so loss of the money we have spent on, the government has spent on the education. So all those things are also there. Okay, all right. Similarly, restricted mobility. Restricted mobility prevents women from actively contributing in the workforce. Okay. Another one, underrepresentation in the policy making and leadership. Again, here also absence of women is very much evident. So decision making roles, women are not much there, and this is also male dominated. So even the policies will also be male dominated. Okay, if women are there in the leadership role, then only there the policies which are favorable for women can be drafted. Men won't be knowing all the issues which the women are facing. So there also we need to have some sort of reform. Okay, so why this issue matters for India? What is actually why we have to address this issue? Because women participation is very much needed for increasing the economic growth. There was actually a study that India's GDP can be increased, that can be boosted by 27%. 27% if more women are there in the, or maybe if we can have a parity between both men as well as women in the workforce. Okay, so more women in the STEM means more innovation, more patents, and even more research output. We are getting more people. Okay, we are able to make more people in the, not just women, it can be more people. Okay, if you are not taking the gender, more people are employed in the sectors. Okay, so their skill is not getting wasted. So obviously that will be boosting the economic growth of the country, and also it will be social empowerment. Like Ambedkar said, he decides the progress of the country by how progressive the women in that country are. So like that way, social equity and empowerment is also one of the important. Uh, uh, for that also we need to include more women. Okay, another one, global competitiveness. Global competitiveness, countries with higher female participation in the STEM, so they show a better technological growth, whether it be the AI technology or whether it be robotics or whatever it be. STEM means again all these things will be coming. So higher the countries with higher female participation in STEM show better technological growth. Why? Because the workforce is increasing, right? In STEM, the workforce is increasing. So India also need to bridge this gap and to stay globally competitive. Okay, for example, China is coming up with new AI technologies. US again, more and more companies are coming up with AI technology. There also women are in the leadership roles also. Okay, that is also uh, one of the highlights of these countries. Okay, all right. So now let's see what are the government initiatives in this regards? What the government is doing in this regard, especially in this STEM fields? Okay, one is a project known as Gender Advancement for Technological Information. We call it as GADI, Gender Advancement for Transforming Institution. Okay, GADI. So the aim of this initiative is to improve the gender inclusivity in the STEM institutions. Gender inclusivity in the STEM institutions. So this is one of the major initiatives which has been brought forward by the government. Another one is a Wise Kiran and Women Scientist Scheme. Wise Kiran and Women Scientist Scheme, we call it as WOS. Again, this provides better funding, better funding and even mentorship for the women researchers. We need more PhDs from women. We need more women scientists also. Even if there is a career gap also, they'll be able to get better funds. Okay, so this is the purpose of this Vice Kiran and Women Scientists scheme. Another one is BioCare program. BioCare program supports women scientists resuming the career. Again, this is a specific initiative. If the women scientists they want to resume the career after their career break, then they can. This BioCare program will be facilitating that. Okay, so this is to enhance the women participation in the STEM careers. Okay, all right. Moving on to initiatives in the say to make our public spaces safe. One is the Nirbhaya fund. Nirbhaya case we all might be knowing what is Nirbhaya case. So like that, there's a dedicated fund for women safety projects. So it can either be bettering the urban infrastructure, bettering the transport security, like women only buses are there. So like that way, emergency response systems like we have toll-free numbers where women can anytime, any time women can approach this authorities regarding safety. So like that way, there are many initiatives in this regard. Okay, so that is Nirbhaya fund. Okay, funding for these kind of women-friendly initiatives. Another one is the Safe City project. Safe City project. Again, this is also mostly related to infrastructure, only bettering the CCTV surveillances, even better lighting will be there, better women helplines will be there. So like that way, it's specific to cities. Cities will be chosen and again this project will be implemented. Nirbhaya fund will be again a more comprehensive scheme. Okay. Another one we have the women helpline 181 and even one stop centers are also there. Okay, so they will be providing women with assistance, especially legal assistance, even psychological support if they have faced some sort of violence or assault. So that psychological support will also be given by this one stop centers as well as this women helpline numbers. Okay, toll free number will be there. Okay, other than that we have more schemes for public transport safety. For example, pink taxis will be there. So pink taxis means women drivers will be pink, sorry, drivers will be women, and even in buses also reserved seats will be there. Women reserved seats will be there. Train also coaches are there, women reserved coaches are there. Even women police in Kerala, there is an initiative on pink police. Okay, so there even the police women will be there. They will be ensuring that the safety of women are there, and even training programs, self-defense training programs will be there. So like that way, many are there. Okay, many and now one thing which many states are implementing is like women the buses transport system where which can only be accessed by women. Women only buses are there, especially in cities like Mumbai, even Chennai, Bengaluru. So they have started that. Even private entities are also coming into this. For example, recently Ola, Ola has started in Bengaluru. Ola has started their bike taxi service. Bike taxi service. Again, the drivers will be women. Okay, so women can opt for this women only bike taxi service. So like that way, even both government as well as the private companies are coming up with this women friendly measures. Okay, all right. What more can be done? What is the way forward? What needs to be done in the future? One, gender sensitive hiring policies. We need gender sensitive hiring policies should be there. Okay, gender sensitive hiring policies should be there. So before the better hiring policies means equal pay. Even if for the same work, if men are recruited or women are recruited, they should be having a equal pay should be there, and they should be able to climb the ladder. It should not be like chutes and ladder method, but both of them should be in the both men as well as women should be uh, in the climbing ladder situation. Okay, and also there should be more flexible work arrangement like work from home should be there, or maybe focus should be on work other than the timing. So that kind of thing should also be there. Okay, and also better mentorship, create better mentorship program, especially women should be in the leadership. Women should be in the leadership role, and again they should be mentoring the senior women should be mentoring the younger women entering this, especially in this STEM career. So that should be there. Flexible work arrangement should be there, like maternity leave, even career re-entry options should be there. So like that way should be there. Okay, career gaps should be more flexible for women. Okay, so that's one thing. Gender inclusive urban plan. when planning itself, like there should be gender inclusive. For example, public toilets should be there, even increasing the women's mobility, that should be there. So like that way, new technology should be brought in. Okay, and also we need a stronger law enforcement system. A fast track court should be there. Even if some violence is happening, it should not be like for many years the case should be going. So like that way, it should not happen. It should be like as soon as possible, that case should be rectified. Okay, so this issue should also be there. Okay, another one, breaking encouraging women's presence in public spaces. Okay, for example, in Mumbai and all, there are many initiatives like women should be freely going. There are even many NGOs are doing this programs, like the night will be for women. Okay, so that night they'll be organizing programs where women can participate. So like that way also it should be there. Okay, promoting more positive female representation, in all areas, not just in these public spaces but everywhere. It should be there. Women friendly gender sensitization programs should be there, including awareness campaigns, especially this recently this related to women's day, and you might have seen cycle rallies will be there, more what are the issues faced by women. So like that way public awareness campaigns should be there. And even in the schools itself, children should be made aware of that women are equal to women, that we should be highlighting on this women gender equality also. Okay, so like that way programs should be there. Okay, recently there was a program in Mumbai that was known as Loifer. Okay, loiter. So that was a women-led campaign, so that they wanted to reclaim the public spaces. Earlier itself I told one of the major issues this women facing are men are outnumbering women in the public space. So they wanted to restart this, they wanted to reclaim this public space. Okay, so that was something which happened in 2014. Okay, 2014. Okay, so in conclusion what we can say is that we need to invest in better gender sensitive policy. There is something known as gender budgeting is also there. So we need to invest in better gender sensitive policy, and also better awareness should also be there, and even cities should be made safer. And also in workplace also there should be women friendly programs should be there. Women's friendly programs should be there, whether it be from hiring to whether it be from making workplace friendly, work friendly. Okay, women friendly. Okay, all right. Moving on to next topic. Again, this is related to US exit from the climate fund. Okay, there is a fund known as the loss and damage fund under UNFCC. So US has, under President Donald Trump, he has exited. He has made US exit from this thing. Okay, so this had very important, significant implications on the overall climate finance itself. Overall, in the world climate finance, even the global diplomacy, and even it has implications on developing nations like India. Okay, so we'll break it down. What is this particular issue? What is this particular fund? Coming in paper GS paper 3 regarding environment and ecology, and also from the international relations perspective. Okay, all right. We see a PYQ related to Green Climate Fund. Okay, so related to that, on loss and damage fund also questions can be asked. Okay, so we'll start with what is this loss and damage fund itself. All right, so what is this loss and damage fund? So loss and damage fund is a global climate finance mechanism. Okay, especially in this recent times, climate finance is becoming very much important, and also many issues are happening related to this climate finance also. Especially again, Trump again became the prime president of United States. So he is not known for his environment friendly policies. He is not to disregard all this kind of environmental laws. In that context also, this international funds where US is part, and also US is planning to exit is also coming into the scene. Okay, all right. So loss and damage fund is a global climate finance mechanism. What is the purpose of it? To compensate the developing nations for climate induced disasters, to compensate the developing nations for damages caused by this climate related disasters. Okay, so when was it established? It was established in COP27, which happened in 2022 in Egypt. Okay, so who is administering it? It is administered by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, so UNFCCC, the body which was formed in the Rio Earth Summit. So they only under this UNFCCC only this loss and damage fund is administered. Okay, UNFCCC administers a loss and damage fund. Okay, so it is to support the recovery efforts in nations, which nations, developing nations as well as a least developing nation. So there should be some sort of climate induced disaster. Okay, climate induced disaster like extreme weather events should be there, or maybe rising sea levels, or maybe even agriculture loss due to this climate events also. Okay, so this was something which was first proposed in 1991. Okay, so as you can see that it is implemented only in 2022, but it was first proposed in 1991. First proposed in 1991. Okay, COP 19. That time COP 19 was happening. In 2000, COP 19 was happening. So this was proposed by Vanuatu. Vanuatu in 1991. Vanuatu, you might be knowing, one of the important smaller states which is affected by climate change a lot, because in some years itself Vanuatu might get submerged in the sea. So this is what it is said. Okay, so 2013 when this Warsaw International Mechanism was becoming in practice. So in that this was proposed, but still again developed countries were against this, but still somehow they were able to adopt this in the COP27 in 2022. Okay, all right. So why it was created? To compensate the developing nations for climate induced disasters. Okay, all right. So we'll see what is actually the funding, the present funding in this particular loss and damage fund. Okay, so far you can see that 750 million has been pledged. So far you can see that 750 million dollars has been pledged. So which is very low, which is a very low. Why? Because the actual requirement is 400 billion. The actual requirement is $400 billion. Okay, you can see what is the difference. It is $750 million only. So what we need $400 billion in overall to ensure that this climate disasters are not affecting this developing country. So which is a very low amount. So we need to at least get this 400 billion by 2030. We need to at least get 400 billion by 2030. Okay, so this is the requirement we are actually having. Okay, so the major contributors in this fund, one is European Union. So they have contributed 275 million. So we can see that most of the major contributor, most of this thing is coming from European Union only, but obviously many countries are part of European Union, and this is not a single country, this is a group of countries. Okay, so like that. And other than that, if you want to take a single country, it is Germany. Germany themselves have contributed 100 million. 100 million is a individual contribution by Germany, and also UAE has contributed $100 million. Again, UAE has contributed $100 million. So if you come to this contribution of US, it's low only, but before withdrawal they have contributed $17.5 million. $17.5 million has been contributed by US before the withdrawal. Okay. However, like I've said, we need 400 billion. This is nowhere. This 750 million is nowhere near the 400 billion mark. Okay, 400 billion mark. We don't have much time also. We need it within 5 years itself. By 2030, we need this 400 billion dollars for climate action. Okay, but many issues are now also in this fund. This was established only in 2022. 2022 in the COP27, which happened in Egypt. But still, many issues are pending related to this climate loss and damage fund. One is, what is actually the eligibility criteria? Who is qualified for this aid? Okay, we have said that it is developing nations, and they should be facing some threat of climate disaster. But who? How will we judge that? What is actually the criteria? Who is qualified for that? Should it be only the least developing nations, or maybe should it be only the nations which are having the threat of submergence of sea, or maybe is there any some other criteria should be there, or it can be given to any developing country. So there is no clarification regarding this particular thing. Okay, so eligibility criteria is very much vague. Eligibility criteria is very much vague in this context. And also there is a debate like whether are we giving grant or are we giving loan? Are we giving the grant or are we giving the loan? Should money be freely given? Should money be freely given, or it should be given as a interest, a loan with an interest? Or what should be the interest? If you are giving it a loan, what should be the interest? Whether it should be very low or whether it should be the normal optimum mark. So that is also another major uh, area which we have not decided. No clarity in this, whether it's a grant or whether it's a loan. So that issue is also there. Another one is again transparency and accountability measures are also there. Transparency, how will we ensure that these are distributed fairly? How will we ensure these are distributed fairly or maybe efficiently? So there is no mechanism to check whether these are going in the proper hands and how much is going. So that mechanism is also not there. Okay, so these are some of the reasons of contention where we have not decided it. We don't have any clarity regarding this. Alright, so why did the US withdraw from this fund? Obviously, US policy, especially after the Trump has been in the power, its policies are not aligning with the global environmental issue. So, global environmental agreement. So, US, so this is not something which is surprising. This is actually one of the what parts of how this US disengagement from this international climate commitments are happening. Okay, all right. So one reason which they are citing is that economic priorities. So US has always been, they are saying that they have always been reluctant to fund this climate related financial obligations. Okay, they have their own priorities and this environmental thing is not their priority. They have their own economic priority. So it fears that these commitments will lead to long term financial liabilities. Okay, so they don't want to come up with any liabilities which are not directly benefiting them, especially for this Trump administration. Okay, and also the US contributes most to this global emissions. So historically, but they don't want to take the responsibility. They are saying that let everyone contribute. Why we are only contributing? So that is their stance, but they are not considering the fact that historically they have been um, one of the major contributors, and now also they are one of the contributors. Okay, all right. So next one is political resistance. Political resistance. So again, including the Trump, many conservative factions in the US, they are opposing this climate finance agreements. So they believe that paying for this climate damage, paying for this climate damages is like climate reparations. Climate reparations, and that's unfairly burdening this industrialized nations, not just US, but all these industrialized nations. So it is not fair. Even developing countries are also polluting, right? Why we are not putting this burden on them? Why only this developed nations? Is that because developed nations are considered a very rich country? So is that the case? That is also there. Again, this narrative also influences US domestic policies, especially this Trump administration. Okay. Next one is sovereignty concerns. Sovereignty concerns. So US says that, or maybe US prefers that they can do it voluntarily. Why we have to obey something which an international body has said? We can do it on our own. We can do it on our own. Then why we have to obey? Maybe we will be able to contribute more if we are doing it individually, or maybe we will have the freedom to decide where we have to use this money. Okay, so that kind of freedom they'll be getting. Okay, so this is one of the reasons which US is citing, and even they have already withdrew from this Paris agreement, and even 2017 while Trump was there, they have withdrawn, and again during the Biden administration in 2021 they have rejoined it, but again once Trump came to power in 2025, again they have this was one of the initial what decisions which Trump administration has taken. Okay. All right. So all right. So even if the US has stayed also, there are major issues with the this particular fund, loss and damage fund of this by the UNFCCC. One is it is underfunding. this developing nation, they are saying that it is underfunding. Why? Because how much we want? We need 750. We need 750 billion. We need, sorry, we need 400 billion. We need 400 billion. But as of now, we are only having 750 million. Okay, by within 5 years, whether we'll be able to, get from this 750 to this 400 billion. Is that possible? So that is one question. So as of now, this is underfunding only. Okay, that is clearly visible. Another one is slow disbursement. Slow disbursement due to this bureaucratic delays. So that also prevent the fund from helping these nations. Okay, especially immediately after disasters, it's not possible. Okay, so that recovery is also taking time because of the bureaucratic. Even if they have money, also the recovery is taking time. So that is also another issue. Another one, this is just a voluntary nation. It's of voluntary nature. There is no legal obligation for this developed nations. So that is also one of the reasons why this pledges, this financial pledges might be a failure. Okay. All right. Another one is a legal liability debate. Legal liability. Many developed nations avoid calling this climate reparations, so that they can be they can prevent the future lawsuits for this climate damage. So that is also one of the reasons. So if a country like Bangladesh, maybe one of the worst hit by this sea level rising or even floods. So they were to sue major pollutants for damages. So this is why US and others refuse to accept the legal responsibility. Okay, so climate change is a global issue, and collective responsibility is the only way forward. Okay, we all know that that is a collective effort is needed. Okay, even India must now take the leading role. Why? Because many countries consider India as a leader of the developing countries, especially for the South-South cooperation and all. So India should also be taking the lead in these kind of initiatives. Okay. All right. So that's it. Moving on to next topic again. This from the Indian Express. Okay, Indian Express related to the India-US Extradition Treaty. India-US Extradition Treaty. It's a very important major development in India's counter-terrorism effort. Okay, so the US Supreme Court, they have given approval for the extradition of Tahaur Hussain Rana. Tahaur Hussain Rana. He was one of the conspirators of this 26/11 attacks in India. Okay. Alright, so it's a very important milestone for India. It's highlighting India's and this in this discussion we'll also highlight the challenges in extraditing this particular criminals from foreign countries. Okay. All right. Coming in GS paper to international relations. Previous year question again. This is also related to a treaty. Okay, so this treaty kind of thing, news chart. So this treaty kind of questions can be important. Okay. All right, we'll start with what is this term extradition itself. Okay, so what is this extradition? Process where one state upon request returns an individual for trial or punishment for an offence committed outside their place of refuge and punishable under requesting state's law. So basically what is extradition? It's a legal process by which one country hands over an accused or convicted individual to another country for either for trial or for punishment. So this process is known as extradition. Okay, so who can be extradited? Not everyone can be extradited. It's based on the treaty only, but ideally this person's formally charged but not yet tried. One, they have to be charged but not yet charged of crimes. Okay, what is the detail of the crimes and all we'll discuss. So charged of crimes but not yet tried. Another one, they have been convicted individuals who have escaped the custody. Okay, they have been convicted but they have escaped the custody of the custodian. Okay, another one, those convicted in absentia. Okay, because they are not present here, they are somewhere outside only. They are not present here but they are somewhere outside only, but because of the cases they have been convicted. Okay, so like that, for example, if a criminal commits a crime in India and he flees to another country, India must file an extradition request. Okay, based on, if we are having an extradition treaty, we must file an extradition request so that we can bring them back for the trial. Okay, so these extradition treaties establish a legal framework for extradition of these individuals, whether it be accused or whether it be convicted. Okay, so these three categories of individuals can be um, brought back to India. Okay, so this extradition, if we have an extradition treaty, that will be aiding this international cooperation. Okay, whether it be terrorist or whether it be this financial fugitives and all, it can be bring back. Okay, all right. So we'll see what is this India's extradition framework. What is India's extradition framework? So India is actually having extradition treaty with 40 countries. India is having extradition treaty with 40 countries are there, and India is also having an extradition act also. Indian Extradition Act of 1962. Indian Extradition Act of 1962. Okay, so this is the act. This is actually the legal framework for extradition in India. So we are following this only, and also we have extradition treaty with 40 countries. With 40 countries, we have extradition treaties are there, including the major countries like US, UK, Canada, Germany, France. Almost all the major developed countries we have extradition arrangements are also there. Okay, and also with 11 countries we are actually having extradition based on reciprocity. Reciprocity means if they are doing it, we'll also. Maybe we are doing, they'll also do. Like that way, we have an extradition treaty is also there. Okay. So who is handling this extradition in India? There should be someone who is handling this extradition, right? Which ministry is handling? That is very important, because some people think that it is actually the Home Ministry, but it is actually the MEA, or the Ministry of External Affairs. The Ministry of External Affairs is only handling this extradition in India. So they will oversee the extradition request. So Indian government must review and approve all this extradition requests before the legal proceedings are beginning. Okay, before the legal proceedings are beginning, we should do this. But there are some key legal protection in this extradition case. Not everyone can be extradited. Even though we have said that three types of individuals can be extradited, but either they might have fled from India, or maybe in their absence we have forwarded the legal proceedings, but not everyone falling in that category can be extradited. Okay, so we'll see what are the key legal protections for that individual. One is double jeopardy. Double jeopardy. That is, we might have already heard this in the polity. So no one can be extradited for a crime they have already been tried and punished for. So if they have already been tried and punished for something, whether it be in India or whether it be outside, they cannot be extradited for the same crime another time. Okay, so this is double jeopardy. The principle of double jeopardy. Another one is political and military offences. Extradition is usually denied, or sometimes purely political reasons will be there. For example, Sheikh Hasina is in India. Okay, so that kind of considered as a political issue. Okay, so in this case, this extradition won't be properly done. Okay, it should be some other crimes like terrorist activity should be there, financial fraud should be there. So like that way, if you are a fugitive, then it can be done. Okay, so in that case, countries can deny, even if they are falling in this category, they can deny. Another one is a human rights consideration. Okay, if a fugitive faces torture, persecution, or an unfair trial, extradition may be blocked. Extradition may be blocked. Okay, so this is also one of the reasons. They are saying that the fugitive is being brought there, they might go through this torture, persecution, or even an unfair trial. At that time also, extradition can be blocked. Again, this is also very vague reasons. Okay, all right. So with US also we have an extradition treaty. 1997, we made a extradition treaty with US, the India-US extradition treaty. So that was signed in 1997. That provides for a legal framework for extraditing uh, individuals involved in mainly involved in terrorism, financial fraud, and even trafficking, human trafficking or drug trafficking, or it should be a very serious crime. Okay, so that is a case. So what are the key features of this treaty? One is dual criminality. One is dual criminality. So the crime must be offense in both the countries. It should be an offense in India, If it's a very serious crime, it should be an offense in both India as well as US. So if in India it's a crime and if US it's not a crime, then for example, like homosexual marriages. If one country it's a crime, some countries it's a crime, some countries it's not a crime. So in that case, this extradition won't be working. It should be crime in both the countries, and also there's a minimum punishment requirement. Offense must have a minimum. It should be of a minimum sentence of 1 year. For normal petty case and all, we cannot do this extradition treaty. Okay, so that is also one thing. And also it should be for extraditable offenses, like we have already discussed, like it can be terrorism, it can be murder, it can be financial crimes, trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking. So all these things are extraditable offenses. Other than that, normal petty issues are not considered for extradition. Exclusion of political crimes or maybe military crimes and all, they are not. The political offenders are not extradited unless their crime involves terrorism or crimes against the head of the legs, assassination plots and all will be there. So then it is not possible. Okay. All right. So what is the extradition procedure? The requesting country submits an extradition request which undergoes judicial and executive review. So after the review, once the review is successful, after that they'll be extradited. Okay. So this is actually the procedure followed. Again, denial of extradition is very much possible. Even though we are having a treaty with the US can still deny it. For example, if the fugitive faces prosecution, torture and all, they can still deny it. This happened in this David Headley case, the Howard Rana case. He was also, David Headley was one of the co-conspirators of this 26/11 attack. So again, the US refused earlier, the US refused to extradite him to India because he said that there will be possibility that he will be tortured in India. So now for that, it's actually a very important achievement for India. Okay, all right, all right. But still, there are some uh, legal hurdles are also there. Mostly, we will have some legal hurdles regarding this. One is dual criminality requirement. Dual criminality. The crime must be an offence in both countries, which is not a case most of the time. So, yeah, Indian things and even judicial review also. This is actually lengthy procedure. So once we are filing it again, it will go for years. It will be going on. Vijay Mallya case, you might be knowing the Vijay Mallya case. So Vijay Mallya case in the US, so that has been dragged due to multiple legal appeals. It is going on. Vijay Mallya is freely roaming around, but still, because of this judicial review, it's a very lengthy process. In India also, it's a very lengthy process. Okay, the political and diplomatic characters. Political offense we have already discussed. Political offense are not much considered unless it is having some crime or some trafficking is there. Okay, diplomatic negotiations are also making it very much difficult, and sometimes they'll be having this asylum or refugee status will be there in other countries. So there also it is not. It is very much difficult. Okay, human rights and legal protections. Human rights and legal protections are also there. For example, if India's judicial process questions, extradition may be denied. So like that way, many issues are blocking this extradition. These are some of the legal hurdles in this extradition treaty. Okay. All right. Moving on to next topic. This is related to the spices. Spices in India. So this article is saying that India, despite being the largest producer and exporter of the spices globally. Earlier itself, the Europeans came to India for spices only, getting our spice only. So from historical time itself, spices in India are very much important. So even though India is one of the major producer as well as exporters, the largest producer as well as exporter of the spice, it holds only 0.7% of the global seasoning market, and that is very much far behind China. China is having 12%, US is having 11%. So this is something which is very much alarming. So this is highlighted in a report by World Spice Organization, WSO, World Spice Organization. So there is actually a need for increasing the production and even increasing the value addition in the spices, and also there is actually a increase in the need to increase the need to boost the exports also. Okay, export by 2030 to 10 billion, to achieve 10 billion export by 2030. Okay, so this is what to say. All right, previous year question in this regard related to trade in India. All right, so this is actually India's current position in global trade. We have said that India is the largest producer as well as largest exporter, largest producer as well as largest exporter of spices. Okay, so India exports 1.5 million tons of spice, 1.5 million tons of spice, and that is the value is worth 4.5 billion, 4.5 billion, which accounts for 25% of the 20 billion global spice market. So, despite its dominance in spice production, India's share in the 14 billion global seasoning market is only 0.7 percentage. Okay, so this is what something which is very much alarming, or maybe it's a contradiction. Okay, so this is what the World Spice Organization they have highlighted in their report. Okay, all right. So about this organization, World Spice Organization. So World Spice Organization, uh, it is something. The purpose of this World Spice Organization too, it's a collaborative platform. Collaborative platform that will be uniting all the stakeholders. All stakeholders mean producers will be there, importers will be there, exporters will be there, even farmers will be there, processors will be there, people from the research will be there. So this World Spice Organization is a collaborative platform which makes sure that everyone's what concerns are addressed. Okay, so that is World Spice Organization. So what are the key objectives of this World Spice Organization? Identifying the growth opportunities, identifying the growth opportunity, recognizing the areas in which this collaboration can be made, or maybe the what is actually the export potential of a country, like how they have stressed about India. So India's largest producer, even they said India is the largest producer, largest exporter, but still in the seasoning market we are only having 0.7% of our presence. Okay, so that's what they said. Again, academic engagement, collaborating with this academic and even academic as well as countries. That's also one of the universities, research institutions, how we can improve the spice quality. That is also there. Government interaction, government interaction, working with these policymakers so that better legislations can be done in this area. Like in India, we have a spice board, so like that. Okay. Also, farmer support. Ultimately, the farmers are only producing, so they also has to be given. So helping the farmers, increasing the production, and that too using eco-friendly. It should be sustainable agriculture. Okay, so that is one of the reasons. So why it was established. So India's spice industry is facing many challenges. For example, now as of now, India's spice industry is not completely eco-friendly. Not completely eco-friendly. Pesticide residues we can see in the spices. So again, once it goes to the global market, there are times when these things are not not accepted. Even though India's largest producer, but since it is not made in an eco-friendly way, since it is having pesticide residues are there, it is not much acceptable in the global market. So like that way, that issues are also there. For that, or for all these reasons, we need to have some value addition. We need to have some value addition. Currently, only 48% of India's spice exports are value added products, while rest are sold as a whole spices itself. Okay, so this is one of the major issue. Okay, so value added spices means, for example, spice blends will be there. Spice extract, some we can extract oil from the spices. Even nutraceutical products are there in spices. So that thing is not happening in this spices. No value addition is happening in the spices. Okay, so this is one of the major challenges which India is facing. And also to meet the 10 billion export target by 2030, the share of value addition added spice export should increase by 70%. At least by 70% we should increase. Okay, then only we'll be able to capture the or maybe we'll be able to make give some competition to our competitors. That's what these people are saying. And also expanding the nutraceutical and pharmaceutical sectors can add further value to the spice. So we need to incorporate better more players in this spice market. Then only we'll be able to meet the goal of 10 billion export target by 2030. Okay, so however, there are many challenges are also there in this spice area. For example, this domestic consumption limits. domestic consumption is actually limiting the exports, because India is one of the major producers as well as major consumers of the spices. So this is limiting the spice exports. Okay, so we need to increase the production. For that, we need to increase the production, and also global players, for example, countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Bali. So that is also a spice area. Why? Because that's why this Dutch people, this French people, and all, they wanted to have the presence. The Europeans came to India for the mainly for the spice only. So they came to they went to that area also, Southeast Asia also, for the spices. So they are now also they are giving competition to India. Okay, so that is also one of the major reasons. And Indian spice production needs to increase to meet all these demands. Okay, ultimately we need to increase. If we are increasing, then domestic production can be domestic production can be met. Sorry, domestic demand can be met. Even international demand can also be met. Okay, so this is what is said. So we have come up with many efforts to improve this spice production. One is to expand the spice farming in India. We have to diversify the spice cultivation. So we, as of now, we are only having spice cultivation is concentrated in some areas only, like Northeast Odisha, Jharkhand. So they should also be considered. For example, Kerala is one of the Kerala, Karnataka. So these are some of the states in which the spice production is in the top priority. Okay, so we have to expand it to the non-traditional states also. More farmers has to be brought into this. For that, we need training should be there. Even WSO is one of the organization which is providing better training to this farmers. So we have to incorporate, because they are also having academy is also there. Even they are also promoting this eco-friendly farming, and also that also has to be considered. Okay, so that's one of the things. Research and development, more research and development should be made in this particular regard. All right, so that's it regarding these are the four topics which we have discussed. Next, moving on to the mains practice question. Again, this is from the women in STEM careers only. So India's global competitiveness in science and technology depends on greater participation of women in STEM careers. Discuss the challenges and opportunities in achieving gender parity in STEM fields. Okay, so we can briefly introduce what is the importance of STEM, how India, the present statistics you can mention, and you can start these answers. And after that, with that, you can introduce this question. After that, you can move on to what are the challenges in achieving this gender parity in this STEM fields. We have already discussed what are the societal norms. Women are not in the leadership roles, workplace discrimination, workplace harassment is happening. So all these things we can mention as a challenges. So after that, what are the government initiative opportunities? In the opportunities, you can write the government initiatives like Gadi, Kiran, BioCare program to ensure that women they are supporting the women who are taking the career break. So like that we can what we can, what are the other educational reforms, institutional reforms, even the cultural shift where women should be moving away from the traditional job role. So that things you can mention. Yeah. Okay, so finally you can summarize by saying that there is a need for gender inclusivity in STEM, and it will be maybe the GDP statistics also we can quote here. Okay, all right. Moving on to prelims practice questions. So these are the prelims practice questions of yesterday's daily news analysis. So today's daily news, the practice questions of today's daily news analysis will be discussed on Monday. Okay, all right. So under which schedule of Constitution of India autonomous district councils are established? First schedule, fifth schedule, sixth schedule, 12th schedule. Okay, so the correct answer is sixth schedule. Okay, sixth schedule is the correct answer. Under sixth schedule only this autonomous district councils are established. Okay, sixth schedule, the states which are coming under sixth schedule is one is Assam, another one is Meghalaya, another one is Tripura, and another one is Mizoram. Okay, so in this tribal states, sixth schedule is applicable. So based on that, autonomous district councils or ADCs are established. Okay. All right, moving on to next one. With reference to AI Kosha and India AI Mission, consider the following statements. AI Kosha is a centralized repository of both personal and non-personal data sets aimed at training AI models in India. So here it is not personal data, it is only non-personal data, only non-personal data. So that is first statement is wrong. So next one, AI Kosha is one of the 7 key pillars of the India AI mission. India AI mission is the major umbrella mission in which the AI projects in India going on. So that is correct. Okay, so here the correct answer is too early. Okay, too early is the correct answer. Next one related to one of the important schemes which was introduced recently, uh, Pashu Aushadhi Kendras. With reference to Pashu Aushadhi Kendras, consider the following statement: the Kendras will provide branded veterinary medicines at affordable prices to farmers. They are part of livestock health and disease control program. The Kendras will also sell ethno-veterinary medicines based on traditional knowledge. Okay. So first statement is incorrect. The Pashu Aushadhi Kendras will provide generic medicine. So here it is written branded medicine, but that is wrong. It will be providing generic medicines. Okay. All right. So second statement is correct. Third statement is correct. So correct answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Okay. Alright, so these are the prelims practice questions of today's daily news analysis. You can visit our website navigator.narayanias.com. So there we'll have a current affairs tab will be there, daily quiz will be there. So you can click on that and you can answer it there itself. We'll be discussing these questions in tomorrow's daily news analysis. Okay. Alright, so in the beginning of the session I have mentioned a question. So that is related to Women's Day. Okay, Women's Day. Why we are actually celebrating Women's Day? What is actually the purpose of celebrating Women's Day? So Women's Day is actually celebrated because of the women-led protest. Origin of Women's Day goes back to women-led protests in Russia on March 8, 1917. March 8, 1917, there was a women-led protest against the war hardship. So it is known as the Bread and Peace March. Okay, but interesting fact is like that was not held on March 8, but it was on February 23rd. But that was based on the Julian calendar, which equates to the March 8 of the present day Gregorian calendar. Okay, so that is why March 8 has been chosen as a Women's Day, International Women's Day. Okay, all right. So that's it for today's daily news analysis. Thank you.